nobody was making past E3s, and there was like a whole entire joke like terminal length.
I've been telling people that, and now, we talking to the horse. It's coming straight from the horse's mouth. All right, folks, we got the brass tacks on the channel today. Let me tell y'all something. We got a former Marine Corps recruiter who's about to set us straight. 100%. So look, we're going to talk Marine Corps, we're going to talk recruiting, we're going to talk a bunch of stuff. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. I hope you get a lot of information out of this video, because there was a lot of stuff I got out of it, man. Boy, if you thought the Marine Corps was bad for you before, wait till you hear this video.
For everyone that's listening, with the Marine Corps, you cannot join the Marine Corps and go straight into a special operation unit. Like you can just join straight up and go straight to MARSOC. To go into MARSOC, you have to already be in the Marine Corps, be at least a Lynch Corporal, which is an E3, getting ready to pick up E4, to even go to their assessment pipeline to where you get assessed. And if you get chosen, they give you like a school seats for you to go to training. That usually takes guys usually like 2 or 3 years in. So you would have to already be a Marine, already be in an MOS, then you go ahead and try out to the assessment process. And if you get chosen, then you go to their school, and you go from there to becoming a recon if you pass everything.
Is there any truth to the fact that they've been making people sign up for 6-year enlistments just to go to selection?
No, not really. But there is a 6-year contract. For example, for Recon, when I was a recruiter for the Recon, because Recon is not it's not special operations in the
It's not
sense.
special
Yeah, it's not.
operations. Yep.
It's not. So yeah, so for the Recon contract, it's around 5 or 6 years. You sign up for it due to the length of training that you have to go through. Because even when you go to the basic reconnaissance course, you go to follow-on training. They even send you to airborne school in the Army, because they do a lot of training with the Army too as well. So to go Recon, usually you have to sign up a 5 years or 6-year contract, and there is a 6-year infantry contract that comes. It comes with the name. When I was a recruiter, it's like an infantry leadership contract. So you do get a $10,000 bonus, and you also like get promoted to E2 by the time you go. By the time you graduate boot camp, you'll be in E2 instead of just like an E1 like everybody else. So there is that contract for 6 years, but it's an infantry contract. But usually per fiscal year, we would only have like 3 or 4 of those available for a whole entire recruiting station, and which usually covers like multiple states, just to give
Gotcha.
people a picture.
Gotcha. Yeah. And what is the likelihood that a kid coming out is going to be successful in the pipeline? Like what is the chances of a 18 to 19-year-old kid coming out and actually hitting those wickets and being successful?
It's very, very low. And I'm, as a recruiter, and you talking to an 18 to 20, 21, and 22-year-old, you'd be like, hey, listen, man, you've been training with us. I see how you run. I see your pull-ups, and, and we even make time for you to go in the pool to see how you do. You're not there. And those will, cause a lot of kids to think you're hating on them, and they'll just pull out and try to go into other branches, which the other branches will just be like, all right, forget it, let's go. But out of all the guys we sent, only one made it through, and that guy was a beast. And he made it all the way through Recon, and he became a Recon Marine. And last time I had contact with him, I know he was in the process of going into MARSOC because he just wanted to do so much more. And instead of, because Recon, all they were doing, I mean, from what he was telling me, was that all they were doing was going on Muse, doing a lot of training. They weren't getting any missions like that. So he was trying to transfer over to MARSOC. So out of all the guys that we sent, I said like over 20 kids. Like some of them were college athletes, wrestlers, football players, basketball players. Some of them could swim actually, but a lot of them, majority of them didn't make it. Only one made it, and I was a recruiter for 3 years, from 2017 to 2020. From everybody we sent, only one made it through.
In 3 years, you had one guy make it.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, Vincent, talk to me about what jobs, because it's almost like the Navy, dog. Like you gave me some gold now, because normally I just assumed that if you didn't make it in the pipeline, you're going to get to go infantry. But you're telling me that's not the case. So what are them hot ass jobs the Marine Corps has that they're sending all these cats to that don't access?
Well, it's like when you put somebody on the recon contract, so pretty much even before they ship out to boot camp, they have standards that they have to meet with the amount of pull-ups, the amount of crunches, and how fast they have to be able to run. But we don't really assess them on swimming. So when they go to boot camp, they get reassessed again on their IST and then later on the PFT, how fast they run the 3 miles and everything like that. And also they get assessed for on swim qual. And some guys you go to boot camp, and I remember in one of your videos you said like, going through basic training or going through this training pipeline, you're not at your best. You might be a fish, while you're back home swimming in the lakes, swimming in the river, swimming in the ocean, but you 5 weeks in, very little sleep, tired, hungry, and muscle fatigue is crazy. You're losing muscle mass, you're losing a lot of skills. So when those guys are getting the pool, like if you become an iron duck, you you're subject to lose your contract. And also too, if you don't score high on your PFT, because some guys will go do 20 pull-ups, they go first weekend, they only do like 12. Some guys will do 12 before they go to boot camp, and when they go to boot camp, they only do 3 pull-ups. And I'm getting a phone call, be like, "Hey, I think you said you guys could do pull-ups." Yeah, you can. So you have a lot of guys that lose their contract during boot camp.
So
And
before they even get
the
to assess, they're losing their contract.
yes, before they even get to it, says they're losing their
And
contract.
where are they going when they lose them contracts on pull-ups, push-ups, or some random thing that happened in Marine Corps Basic?
So you get reclass, and when you get reclass, they put you into like Dan Morris's that they always have abundance of. Yes, infantry is the biggest and worst in the Marine Corps, but those contracts are always filled up. So they always end up going into Motor T Mag, Motor T operators, cook, supply. So those are the
Supply,
MOSs,
cooks, motor T, fixing trucks.
fixing trucks, driving trucks, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, get you some of that, right? Like that's crazy. Like now that you've given me those bullets, bro, the Marine Corps went down 4 more times. Like it was already at the bottom, but now I had to dig a little bit deeper under the Marine Corps because like think about that. You want to go be a recon Marine and now you mixing scrambled eggs. You know what I'm saying? You got the 50-pound bag of eggs that you mixing up in the morning and cooking. Like, that's a
Yeah.
different animal.
Yeah. It's a beast. And, sometimes some of the kids who would listen, I'd be like, "Hey, listen, man, I know you want to be recon or whatever. Go infantry. Go infantry first. If you like it and everything like that, you can always either lap move to recon. And when you lap move to recon, you get a contract.
Hmm.
It was at the time a $21,000 bonus. You get a bonus and everything like that. And if you don't make it, you go back to infantry. Or while you you train some more. You can lap move to go into Marsoc, and Marsoc had a $50,000 bonus at the time too. So instead, if you go right off the bat with the recon contract, there's no I don't know about now, but when I was in, there wasn't no bonus for entry level into recon as a contract. There wasn't no bonus for that, and you're just risking losing your MOS too. You go into it, guess what? You don't make it, and boom, now you end up as a motor T, and you come to my platoon, and I'm your platoon sergeant. You're always pissed off, giving everybody attitude, and those guys they take it really bad.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
take it really bad.
I know. I got a bunch of frogmen, wannabe frogmen that are on ships shipping paint. I got a kid that went to DLI. He ain't real happy right now. So I know the attitude and the shittiness that comes with not making what you really want. We had a good conversation about promotions. You hit it all on the head. I've been saying it. Like the Marine Corps is not the place to go if you really want to do some shit. Now, if we were in 2005 and we were chewing it up in war, you want to go in the Marine Corps, go get it. Right? Like, go get it. Cause they're gonna take everybody they can get. I mean, shit, my dude was the battalion adjutant, right? They had 290 out of 800 people Purple Hearts. They lost 36 killed and they had like 80 amputees. I was like, golly, but it was like 290, like almost half of the battalion got a Purple Heart. Now they was in the middle of it, right? But still, like, if you're trying to go get it in, that's a good place to go during wartime. We're not at wartime. It's not a good place to go. So real quick, like we talked a little bit about the promotion times, and like you were talking about, you did 9 years and you were still at E5.
Yes, I did 9 years. I was still in E5. Never been in like never been in any trouble, no NJPs, no nothing. It was just that for the longest my MOS was closed out, and it was like I think around the early 2010s, a lot of MOSs were closed out, and nobody was making past E3s, and there was like a whole entire joke like terminal length. So people would just do a whole entire 4 or 5 year contract and never see E4s. And
And that's
I got
because
promoted.
the
Yeah,
Marine Corps came down from 220 down to 130, right? 125.
to 180, 180. They came down to 180, and it's sometimes it's just hard to really promote, and not to sound cocky or anything like that. It's just you have a lot of guys, they are competing really hard, and those guys are, for lack of a better term, they're all hot shit. And when it comes with, there weren't really a lot of promotional boards like that to where you could try to get a meritorious promotion, and just waiting on a score, it'll be closed out for 2, 3 years, and
Yeah, so
it's
the Marine Corps
horrible.
right now is at 177. At the
177, yeah,
height, it was like 220. So they had to get rid of, they had to get rid of damn near 40,000 people. 30,
right,
40%, 30% of the Marine Corps they had to get rid of. But I mean, that's just crazy to me that, you got dudes doing a 6-year enlistment and they still E3s, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But that's what I've been saying, right? Like I've been telling people that, and now, we talking to the horse. It's coming straight from the horse's mouth. And it's crazy to me, man. Like I don't understand at this point in time. You want to be a special operations guy, you want to be an infantry dude, why you just don't go Army, right? Like dudes get promoted to E5 in 3 years in the Army. 3 years, you at E5. You might not be a lance corporal. You be a lance corporal in 3 years in the Marine Corps, but you might not ever get promoted. And then we talked about this, like the promotion above that. So you make E5, E4, you make E5, and then E6. Like, I mean, shit, you might be 10 years making E6 in the Marine Corps. You're gonna be E6 in the Army inside of your first enlistment. As long as you're good, right? And we all assume that good performance is there. Um, I just, obviously the schools are better in the Army. They got bigger budget, and you ain't competing against a bunch of fucking devil dogs, right? You compete,
right, yeah,
you competing against a bunch of dudes in the Army, you know.
right.
And I think that's a big thing. I tell people, like, everybody want to compete with the best until you're looking at your paycheck and it's $2,000 short 6 years in. You could have been in the Army. You could have been a Ranger bat. You could be in SF. Your paycheck could be 4 times that size.
Right, and yeah, the pay is, just you just sitting there, you're watching everybody that joined the military with you. They are E6s, E7s, E8s, and you're still E5. And the only thing you could go off of is just like, well, at least I'm in the Marines, or you just try to use that pride, but deep down inside, the real, it's like, man, this is some BS. And you're trying to compete, and yeah, you're with the best. Like, I'm not gonna, hands down, I love the guys that I work with. Those guys were professionals. They were go-getters, man. Like, motivation was always way up there. It doesn't matter how bad it sucked. They were ready to go.
Yep.
Solid dudes. It doesn't matter the MOS, even if it's infantry being in a POG unit, supply, whatever. Those Marines were ready to go. But, like you said, and I think a lot of people should take that into consideration, the Army has no resources that's able to meet like the individual soldier's needs.
Yep.
In the Marine Corps, it's all about the Marine Corps' needs. So you're trying to find a way to fit in there.
Yep.
And especially when it comes with a lot of like, outside of military training, like going to college, getting you being able to use tuition assistance, everything like that in the Marine Corps. Sometimes like they don't have the resources for it. And you're trying to sign up for college classes, you can't do it. Or
Yep.
you gotta go on immune, or you gotta go do this, but in the Army they have more resources to accommodate you. But you know, if anybody just want to join and be a devil dog and be have good friends, um, and if there's a war, like you know, we get it in. You know, there's a lot of deployments. It doesn't matter which if you're infantry or not. You're definitely going to get a lot of deployments. You know, if there's anything. But outside of that, you know, I wouldn't say the Marine Corps is not so much of a good choice. But if somebody's fully sold, they want to carry on family legacy, then by all means, you know, go ahead on a recon contract right off the bat. But the chances of success is slim to none. You know, it's very low. It's very low. It's very
Very
slim.
low, very low. And I like to play good odds in my life, not bad ones.
Exactly. And you're gonna show up to a unit. You're gonna have the bad attitude, and a lot of the recon guys, and they find it hard to adapt. You know, they come into that unit, and sometimes the other guys are teasing them. It's like, oh, you thought you was, you know, make fun of you. Say, oh, there go Ricky Recon right here,
Yeah.
and you know, guys are teasing you. You feel inadequate, and you still pissed off. You know, the first couple of years in is, you know, it's very tough for those guys, man. Sometimes, a lot of times, I always feel bad and trying to bring them in, find ways to include them and everything, but it's very hard for them. So.
Yeah. Okay, so you got out of the Marine Corps. What's your plan?
So IEAS, I got out the Marine Corps right when COVID kicked off. Uh, so it sucked pretty bad. So you know, after recruiting duty, I was burnt out. I was burnt out. I just didn't want anything to do with the military. I was not ready to start college. So I just ended up just you know, going for like 3 months and just bouncing from Airbnbs in Mexico and just chill for the first 3 months. And after that, when I got back stateside, I started going to college. I'm currently attending CUNY in New York, Brooklyn College, and I'm getting a double major in finance and accounting. And it's just life is hard right now. And if you're going to go to college, you have got to make sure you get a degree that's gonna make you a good amount of money so you could, you know, support yourselves and families and stuff. Yeah, so my plans, I'm currently doing an internship for one of the big fours, and I'm really liking it at the moment. It's very busy season. And, you know, if I end up getting a full-time offer, which right after my graduation this June, I do plan on working for them. If not, then I'm also looking at the option of going into the Army, you know, to become an officer. So I've still been training, getting in shape. I'm helping guys on campus get in shape because a lot of guys are trying to join the military as well after graduating. And yeah, so that helped me stay in shape. I'm hopeful for the future. You know, it was a good break to attend college.
Awesome, brother. Awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on here, man. You know, a lot of dudes be kind of shy and scared. And I'm like, look, man, like these are the facts, man. We're not on here
Right.
snowing nobody, you know, like that's one of the things I tell people, like everybody be like, yo, your truth to power is refreshing. So real quick, do you have a family?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so why was the family kind of like talk to me about why you decided to get out of the Marine Corps and change directions and what kind of drove that?
Well, I had a family when I was in the Marine Corps, but my marriage did not survive recruiting duty. So I got divorced like right around the time I was getting ready to EAS. Like right before I completely got out, I got divorced on my last year in, and now I have a girlfriend and I have my daughter, and so
Did you
I'm
have a
starting
kid
over
with your
freshly.
first wife?
No, we didn't have a kid together.
Okay,
No,
so you got super lucky, right? Like
right.
you got super lucky. You got a kid with your girlfriend right now. So what was kind of the driving factor behind you getting out?
The biggest factor was I was burnt out as a recruiter, and just the long working hours, and not having enough time for my family. My marriage was failing, and you know, I don't want to badmouth my command, but a lot of, you know, they were all the way in Dallas, and I was all the way in our office was all the way in Little Rock, Arkansas. So we didn't get that much support. It was just that, you know, just to grind and produce, you know, like you
Yeah,
had to
yeah.
get people in the Marine Corps. That was the job. And it was a Monday through Sunday. And, you know, from sun up to sundown. And, you know, a lot of guys that marriage didn't survive. Like, I only know one person who made it with that marriage intact, and I know one guy who committed suicide while on duty. and it was really tough, and I was just burnt out. And to me, it was just that, you know what, my contract is over. I completed my contract honorably, and it's time I start to consider myself.
Absolutely, man. Vincent, I appreciate you coming on the channel, man. As always, you catch me at jakeswig.com, masterclass. We dropping recruiter knowledge in the Marine Corps today. Hey, man, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. Hit the subscribe button. Come join the party. All right, brother.